Pizza time.
Pizza time.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the next episode and installment of Pizza Time. Today, we are doing one of the most anticipated movies. No, it's not Solar, although that is one of them. If you haven't seen our review of that, we did it. Yeah, go check that out. A lot of people seem to like that one. We'll have that link in the description and over here somewhere. But today, no, it is the next Rajkumar Hirani Indian film, Dunki. Before that, happy almost Christmas, everybody. Apparently, Indians do celebrate Christmas. Alex, happy almost Christmas.
Happy almost Christmas. Ed, I also thought it was very funny that in your description of Solar, in the time codes, you put at 9:09 or 9:01, I can't remember the time.
Yeah, something like that.
You put, do Indians celebrate Christmas? I thought that was really funny. Funny enough for two people to screenshot it to me and send it to me saying,
really?
What the hell is this guy doing? And I was just like, oh, it's nice.
Really? That's funny. I'm just legitimately curious because I was talking to my wife and I was like, I don't know if like Indians, I was trying to figure out when this review should go up. And she was like, I don't think you should put it up on Christmas Eve because like they're going to be celebrating Christmas. And I went, you think they celebrate Christmas? They're like, oh yeah, they celebrate Christmas. And it turned this whole conversation about like, well, I didn't know it's a Christian holiday. I didn't know if like they celebrate. And apparently Christmas in general is celebrated just around the world. It's more so less a Christian holiday as it is a world holiday.
Christmas movie. It's
I don't know.
Feels like right now. Yeah.
I just I don't want to assume. It's Jesus's birthday. Like if you don't believe in Jesus, why would you?
For us, but like
anyways,
like Saint Nick and stuff. All right, whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
We're getting off track.
I'm just saying, we're getting off track. Let's get back to it. But anyways, happy almost Christmas to India and everybody there. Thank you for all the wonderful gifts, and when I say that I mean comments that you've been leaving and just been watching all through the year here at Pizza Time. And we hope that we leave this present for you today because it is our review of, again, Dunki. So let's just get right into it. I'm going to give a short wrap up of the events of the film really quick. Yeah. So Dunki is essentially about this sort of it's weird to say this, but it's this ragtag group of immigrants who live in Punjab, India. And essentially, really, their goal for the movie is to immigrate to London because, like many other Asian immigrants or any immigrants in general who want to go to sort of these more first world countries, they have a slew of issues at home that they believe that if they go to this other country, they will have a better life, more money, all the wealth, and like funnel that back all into the people that need it at home. However, in this case, it's not that easy. Visas are largely very difficult to get. And during this time, this is like what the movie begins in 2020, roughly present time, but it goes back, of course, to, I believe, is it the 1980s? I think it's like 1985 or something like that.
1985.
Yeah, so during this time, visas are not easy to get. They're still not really easy to get, to be honest, in general, but it was even harder during this time. And so this group of ragtag immigrants led by Shah Rukh Khan, the king, they are forced to take what is called a Dunki, which is roughly translated, or maybe directly translates into donkey flight. And what that is a very harrowing journey through, very illegal journey, in fact, from Punjab to London through just the worst conditions. I mean, honestly, it might be an exaggeration, but honestly, I don't think it is. People have to go through waters where gunfire and other countries' political turmoil and getting arrested and just horrible stuff we'll get into. But and it's basically their story about getting into London and seeing exactly what expectations were either met by coming from a third world country to a first world country.
Right.
And then in the spoiler alert, but if by the end of the film, if you don't want to know, if you haven't seen it, the end of the film, the irony is that they live there for like 25 years and then have to then come back want to come back to India.
They want to go home. Yeah.
So that is a little recap of the movie. Dunki, again, directed by Rajkumar Hirani, one of the great Indian directors. I mean, seriously, like he's done, again, one of our favorite movies now of all time, Three Idiots. I mean, that's really going to be hard to knock down. Don't think it's ever going to happen. PK, of course. And one other one that we haven't seen yet, Sanju, his most recent film before this, which we'll get to, I promise you. And then Munabai, of course, and its sequel, which we have. If you haven't seen Munabai review, we've done that as well. So, Alex, I've said a lot. I'm very, very excited to talk about this film with you today because if you look at the reviews from other people, you would think that Dunki is a slam dunk. It doesn't seem to be as a slam dunk as other films. We will get into those reviews in a second, but before that, I want to get your thoughts on Dunki. What did you think of Dunki?
Yeah, so I want to start by saying I liked the film. I definitely enjoyed it more than Solar, like I said I would. Shocker. But yeah, I did enjoy it. The director has such a way of just kind of putting all his charm on screen, and then when you combine that with an actor the caliber of SRK, just like with Amir Khan, it's hard not to enjoy the movie and enjoy the ride. So it's definitely an enjoyable movie, and I did like the movie, but it's not my favorite from this director. That's definitely still Three Idiots, and then PK, and then honestly, I think I might have enjoyed Munabai more than this one. And that's crazy to say because I didn't know a single actor in Munabai, and I know SRK, and we've started some of his filmography. But again, I think the movie has a couple flaws here and there. And overall, even with the little flaws, I can't put my it's one of those weird things. Can't put my finger on it of why I didn't enjoy it as much as. Do you ever have that kind of feeling with movies?
100%.
Yeah, that's how
as much as we talk about
movie.
Movies, dude. Sometimes I can't really. Sometimes it's just a feeling. It's a feeling. I can't explain why I hate carrots, but I fucking hate carrots. So, anyways, I totally get it.
I don't feel like it's an over-labored story, but I think a lot of people have said that.
Yes, that is one of the things that a lot of reviewers are saying. We'll get into it, but go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think people also kind of were not happy with SRK's performance, and I think they think he takes too much away. But for me, I enjoyed every second he was on screen.
Oh, me too, as always.
And I enjoyed his character. And then I wasn't overly fond of the ending. So other than that, I think it was a good film. It was still very good. It was a very good film.
Yeah, it's when you compare his movies, it's like picking diamonds. It's hardly a bad film. Yeah, You're just comparing it to itself now.
It's still a good film. It's filled with charm, filled with heart. It's filled with, again, moments where the director likes to punch you in the stomach and do something terrible on screen to you.
Horrible stuff here.
And there's a couple of moments in there you're just like, oh, geez.
Right.
But, it has everything there on the recipe. It's just off. Off a little bit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's how I felt about the film. I liked it. I didn't love it.
Yeah.
And I have loved his 3 other films we've watched. So
now we haven't. Okay, so we haven't seen Sanju, but as of now, you would probably say it's like on the bottom of your Hirani. It's the last.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so great review. My thoughts on the film are, this is going to be interesting because I was really excited to talk about this because I want to preface my thoughts of the film with this. It hits very close to home for me particularly because I have immigrant parents and there's a lot of moments in this film that I really connected to, particularly from my mom's side. And we're not getting into details, but there's already going to be a bit of a bias I can sense for myself, and I'm already going to say that up straight out. I'm going to be trying not to be and be open, but because of that, I seriously still love this film a lot.
Yeah,
I think it has flaws for sure. I did 100%. Oh my god, what in 5 minutes? But I don't know. I might have to rewatch this film without that bias now, knowing what this movie is about, like specifically, and see if like a lot of that is being fueled by that. But I have to go with my gut, which is I really, really like this film. Not only do I think we can talk about sort of the story that they decided to go his filmmaking here, but I think what was really strong, I think, was the story. And its simplicity and its straightforwardness, because I think that was its purpose. I don't think it's about immigration. It doesn't. And what I liked about it is that it wasn't tackling, I think, the problems of immigration too hard. It has its opinion about it for sure. There's even that one scene. There's that scene with SRK. All right, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
No, I was just literally going to tell you I was about to say the same thing as you. Like for a movie that handles a really sensitive subject, I think all over the world, it does so in a way so tactfully and tastefully, where he's not really saying, hey, this is my opinion on it. I mean, not till the very end where you get those
more or less
where it goes to black and white pictures, and then you get what he's trying to say. Right. But like the movie itself, if you take that out, the movie itself is just saying, here is immigration for you to see.
And hear how it is for some people. Like he's not saying it's like, I like what I like about it is that he's not trying to bring down the system necessarily. He's not also, I don't think at any time does he ever victimize London or Britain for their laws. The point is, it's like sometimes we have to be human. Again, it's like Munabai, right? Ultimately, it's just like, but where's the humanity half the time? We get laws, we understand this, but where's the humanity, right? So I thought that did a good job of that. So here's the thing that everyone keeps saying is that it's one of his most simple movies. It's very frivolous. A lot of people were expecting that he was going to do something more interesting, like PK, like Munabai, like Three Idiots, where the screenplay is a little more just just above, again, believability, right? I agree with everybody that this is his most straightforward film. It's very easy to follow, right? Like it's very easy. But I thought that was one of the biggest strengths of the film, considering what it was tackling, right? So what I loved about the movie, it was freaking funny. A lot of people were saying it wasn't funny. I was dying, dude. Really honestly, I thought this was funnier than as of right now, I have this above PK. Again, it could be the bias, but either way, even aside from that, I thought this movie was funny as hell. The filmmaking is still really sharp, even when it's such a simple movie. Every scene feels needed. Every scene feels like it has to be there, and not almost all the scenes don't feel like they last too long. It's just it's a continuation of Hirani really just being one of the most efficient storytellers. It's really, really good. Really great scenes we'll get into. And then you have this really interesting balance of like super funny first half, and then after the interval, it gets very serious. It's a really harsh thing, and I will even admit sometimes I don't know if it always is 100% working, but at the same time, I think he handles it pretty well for the most part. Where even the darker parts are pretty thrilling, and then he picks it back up again for the end. So overall, I just really. I still really enjoyed it. It's still such a fun, fun time at the theater. I can't say I really loved it. So
I enjoyed a lot of it. I am upset about Solar because it was playing in the theater right next to me, and I don't know. Put your stupid reverb thing on that you were doing yesterday, and like at one moment, he was when they're on the train and he was hugging her, saying it was all going to be okay after he saves them. There a fucking like big ass Solar moment came in, so just do it really quick.
Okay.
Solar. And then there's like picture that, you hear that, and my theater, which was midway packed, there was a halfway full. Everybody started laughing, and in this like we're supposed to like this is a serious moment. Like he just rescued these two people with one of the most amazing shots I've ever seen from a gun. And
that was great.
And here we are, and I just like we just couldn't help but laugh because this stupid Solar movie next door is blowing out the speakers. So
loud movie. Watch our review if you know what we're talking. It's even intervening in other movies. Okay, that's Solar. So that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Anyways,
where do you want to start?
Let's start with. I mean, I do. Here's where I want to start.
Okay.
Do you believe the simplicity of this movie? Because we can agree this is a great movie. So let's go past that a little bit for now. I just want to talk about something more interesting. Is Hirani as a director?
Okay.
What is it about this film, do you think, compared to the other ones? Why is it this one not really singing like the other ones compared?
Well, I can't fully answer that because I love all of them, and this one I still liked.
Right, but why is it bottom then? Why is it last? Can you explain why right now it's currently rotten on Rotten Tomatoes, 12 reviews, but still, it's
why is it rotten?
I think all of his movies are rotten. I mean, sorry,
the hype,
it's the only
maybe
movie
hype kind of ate this movie up a little bit.
You think it was
it's
hype?
Hirani with SRK, and reading some of these reviews, it does seem like a lot of these people don't like SRK. They're like, the SRK is intrusive, simple plot, but again, to me, it's like
intrusive. Wow.
Yeah. Two reviews say SR Trey is intrusive.
I love
comes
SR
off
Trey.
as trying too hard. It's overcrowded and overstretched. I really don't think that any of that is.
I would disagree with that. It's crazy.
I disagree too. I don't think this movie's rotten by any stretch of the imagination.
It's really hard to see that.
Right. The fact that this movie is rotten and something like The Marvels is fresh is silly to me. With that said,
different countries.
I think maybe the length got to people. I can see how maybe they thought it was too funny at times.
Too funny? Is that what people are saying?
Too funny? I don't know.
I don't know. Some people didn't think it was funny at all. That's what kills me. I'm like,
super funny.
How is this not
I really
funny?
can't tell you why people don't like this movie or why it didn't work the way it is. Maybe our commenters can give us some insight into why. Personally, I think all his films are inherently simple. I think they're all really simple stories to follow.
Yeah.
And the fact that this one apparently isn't, maybe
it's a criticism, right?
Maybe because it's exactly what it says it is.
Right.
And,
right.
PK is an alien who goes to every single religion and says it's not. It's fake.
Maybe this was slightly more predictable in that sense.
Yeah. So maybe they're just used to his formula.
Yeah,
again,
maybe that's true.
As directors start sticking with the same formula, it gets stale, and maybe they're just tired of that. Maybe they wanted something different from this director.
Yeah, maybe they were just expecting that level. Right. And I don't think that's a bad criticism. At the same time, though, I feel like it could depend on the story, and I think in this particular case, I think it might have been a little more smart to go the way that he decided to for this particular case. Every story needs something different. I don't think every story can be just 101, even with style. So I thought it was a more smart move, but apparently a lot of people didn't think so. So okay, well, I want to talk about. You said that SRK was like intrusive. Some people thought he was intrusive.
Some reviewers did.
They did. Okay, I want to get your thoughts on why I believe on another character, which I thought was fantastic. Why I don't think SRK was too intrusive, and that is, sorry if I'm butchering this name, Taapsee Pannu, who plays Manu. She's the female lead, who I thought was fantastic.
Yeah, she was
I
great.
loved her so much. She's a fantastic actress, and I like that she played this sort of more tomboyish woman. She wasn't like really playing the beautiful, incredibly beautiful model girl just to stand next to SRK. Yet they are obviously love interests. But I thought her story was really fantastic, and I thought that actress did a great job of playing this sort of more girl next door, but had a priority straight while also being incredibly cute. And so what did you think of her?
I also thought she was fantastic. If any character got annoying, I would say it was one of the other friends.
Bugu?
He got annoying to me. Who?
Bugu, the one that didn't get accepted.
Bugu got annoying to me, but
really interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I think I got a little tired of his. The comedy stopped working there for me. Maybe that's a criticism.
Maybe so. I didn't get tired of him, but I can understand that.
This time. I got tired of him. But he was kind of useless, so I think that's why I got tired of him. But anyway,
there's that stretch after they get during the Dunki where I feel like they didn't know what to do with him because he was just the comic relief, and it was just such a serious situation. Like they and he didn't almost say any words during the Dunki part. So.
But anyway,
maybe there's
back
something
to Manu.
imbalance.
I thought Manu was fantastic. She put out a really, really great performance, and then man, that scene might be my favorite scene in the movie because I was angry, but also so heartbroken at the same time. Yeah. When she claims asylum and Hardy doesn't.
Yeah.
And he has to listen to her, claim asylum. I was just like, oh no, she's not gonna. Oh no.
But it makes complete sense though. That's all what makes that scene so great is because everyone's doing what is right for themselves.
And you know what's coming because the movie starts off and he's back at home and she's in London, so you know she's gonna claim asylum. Right. So I was just like, oh man, oh no, this is rough to watch.
That's a great marker of Hirani's screenplays that he tells you essentially what will come. And you still are so connected to like what is occurring.
He tells you that the Vicky Casual, I probably just butchered his name, so sorry. He puts together an amazing performance.
Oh man, Suki.
Suki. He's only on screen for maybe 20 minutes of this 2 hour and 40-minute movie, and like he almost steals the show because he's just trying to go save this woman, and he's trying to get the love of his life back.
What a tragedy.
And he won another amazing scene. One of my favorite scenes again is when he's begging to the man to give him a visa. And he's like, you came to this country. You don't speak our language. Right. You don't know what, And it was like so true listening to him do his monologue. And I was just like, oh no. And then when he gets to that call, I don't.
Oh, shock.
You know me. I don't cry.
Mm-hmm.
I was like on the verge because when he grabbed the lighter, I was like, oh, no.
Oh, it's over. Yeah.
Is he going to burn himself alive? And then he did. And I was like, oh, why do you have to do this to us, director? Why do you need to do this to us in every movie?
It seems like this, right? I get confused by how people couldn't possibly think that this was like
too funny.
It was too funny or didn't handle it properly. I'm like, that was a gut-wrenching scene and it worked so well. Hirani is one of the best directors doing, just morbidity and humor at the same time. Yeah. I think he's one of these people who believes in the saying that happiness and sadness are the same side of are different sides of the same coin, right? Which is true. Here more than ever, I feel like when you see the stuff that they go through in the Dunki, where their lives are on line, they kill 3 people with a sniper. By the way, what a great scene where suddenly it just goes completely silent. There's no music, and that sniper has to take out 3 of their friends. It's such a gut-wrenching scene, and it's just like, but you're still completely locked in. Yeah. Talk about again. This is the dynamicism I'm talking about that a filmmaker should have in their arsenal, unlike in a movie like Salar. But like there's scenes like that are just like so. What are some of your other favorite scenes? I want to talk about. I think some of my favorite scenes were all in the beginning, where you just have these energy. Hirani has this energy that's insane. He has. There's so many scenes in the beginning that like are character based, and they're so interesting. One of my favorite is you said you didn't love Bugu. Eventually, he did get a little bit but in the beginning, he's so funny when they have to go to his parents to try to explain why he lost out 150,000 core.
Groupies.
And SRK goes through this whole thing of like, well, who would you rather? He doesn't know that he's there. The parents don't know that Bugu's there. And the SRK has to go and be like, what's more important, your son or money? And they're like, well, of course, my son. And he's like, okay, good. Hey, come over here.
Boogie, come here. Yeah,
that whole scene was so hilarious. Scene. And then his grandmother dies in the next scene. I was dying literally of laughter. It's so good.
The grandmother scene made me laugh really hard. It's so
funny.
Because I was just like, oh, they didn't do that. And then
the comedic time is amazing.
I liked the immediately following scene as well because he goes and sees the Visa sign up 30% off, and he leaves. And then Hardy has to go get him and say, "We're at your grandma's funeral. You need to go back. Like you guys are dumb. You're not getting it." Another great scene. I have to talk about the song.
What a great song! Yes, dude, can we please talk about that? Yes,
that might be my favorite song. Fighter is up there right now, but after that movie got out, I was listening to that one.
I'm with you.
Rebooted.
Rooted, rebooted, something.
Yeah. That. Dude,
it's so good. It's so good.
Fantastic. I was like. In the movie theater, I thought it was great, and his whole love for her. But the scene before that, which is even better, is when he can, it's a payoff scene, which he's really, really good at, like you just said. He mentions to him, everyone thought I was a joker, And this guy, he gets scolded by, of course, the greatest teacher of all time. He should play a teacher.
Bowman.
Yeah, he should play a teacher in everything, right?
I think he should be just the teacher. Yeah,
and
he's like
he gets
Mr.
scolded
Feeney.
by him, and Manu stands up for him, says, "Don't call
Love
him a
that scene.
joker. You don't know anything about him." And like I thought that scene was fantastic too.
You also don't get enough scenes like that. We have two very fantastic female scenes this year that just show them taking their power, like just And it's as simple as like standing up for somebody. It's like really that simple. And I love that scene too. She does a great job at it. But I want to talk about the filmmaking of that item number 2. The fact that he's using like there's a superimposition of SRK in the moment and then him and then like the moments in the film before that. Like there's two of them on screen at the same time. I thought it was really cool. I haven't seen that in an Indian film yet. Like where he's in the moment of singing, and then also there's just other scenes playing. They use it again later in the end of the film, which was also really smart when they go back to India with Manu, and she's like reliving all the moments in that beautiful shot that just like that 360 shot
wipes through. Yeah.
That was so cool, and the way they enter the item number, I thought was so smart, such energy.
Yeah.
And I agree. I couldn't help. And the dance is so silly. We should do a TikTok to that dance, by the way.
Oh boy.
The whole thing was just, and there's only one. There's only one item number, and it works narratively, and it
fits in. There's only one item number in Three Idiots, and it works.
That's true. That's true. That big,
and it works narratively too.
It works there.
The water goes out, so they're bathing in the tubs. So
absolutely.
That was one of my favorite. What are some of your favorites?
I said a little bit. No, it's fine. I had Bugu was a big one. I also really loved the just that simple scene in the train and the Ladu, where it's the first time you are introduced with SRK. It's just very short moment where he gets off the train. He gets knocked into by some random dude who's being an asshole. He drops all his food, the Ladu, and the Indian national anthem comes on. I don't know if that's the name of it, but the Indian national anthem comes on. Yeah. Apparently, most people have to stand and actually,
he's a soldier.
He's a soldier. You're right.
Yeah.
But also the other guy does it too. And during this time, there's a rando from the train that sees that he's dropped his food, so he comes out and starts to steal it. And he's just like, he's just being he has to just watch this guy steal his food.
Yeah.
And it's moments like that. It's simple. It's super simple, super small. It doesn't have anything to do with the narrative specifically, but he's really great at character moments like this. You understand who he is immediately while making it the moment so light on its feet. He does this every single time. The whole explanation of who Manu is, who Bugu is, who's the other name? Bali.
Yeah.
And like what their jobs are, them having to get the visas illegally. You learn so much about them so efficiently, so quickly. And I just, all those scenes are fantastic. And I obviously, one of the best, it's a bit of a criticism, but I also love the scene. It's when they have to take the islets. It's a really extended scene. They have to go through everyone doing their test. But I thought it was a really funny scene because the scene before is also really good.
They thought
where SRK has to gave them that whole sentence they have to remember. You just have to plug in whatever they're talking about. It fails miserably, except for Bali. And so the whole sequence is just it's so funny, so interesting. So it's scenes like this especially in the beginning.
It's the beginning, yeah.
Where I don't understand what people say when they say it's simple. Sure, the story is simple. Like the main goal of the story is simple, but it takes a really skilled screenwriter like Hirani to write scenes like this. Like you don't get this often, where you're not really sure what the exact outcome or the next scene will really be when you have a grandmother dying, when they have to deal with a visa, or if they have what's going to happen at the next school lesson, with Bowman. That's a fantastic screenplay, and I don't. So when people are expecting maybe a ground story that's more complicated, I would venture that it's stuff like it's the details in the screenplay here that make this not hardly a simple story. We've seen a lot more simply told story executions before, so I would argue the screenplay was fantastic, and it kept me very much interested. So why don't we talk now more so about the latter half of the film, during the Dunki, right, and when they get to London. My big criticism of the film is that I actually felt like the London scenes were shortchanged. The balance of
Yeah.
it was
Yes,
really off
yes.
because
I was, oh my God. I was literally
The
about
balance
to
was
say
off.
the film feels uneven.
Yeah.
That's my criticism of the
I
film.
agree.
That's why it's not my favorite.
That's probably
why.
the biggest thing
Yeah.
I could say was that their time in London felt like a day versus when we were in, half of the movie is in Punjab, and
Yeah.
that felt appropriate. Here it felt so short, and it's a good criticism. I think it's a good problem because what I could have probably done with another 15, 20 minutes of them just being in London, especially Hardy, because I feel like he just flips really quickly about London. It's like, you've only been here for a second. And I see where Hirani really tried to just get that quickly. His idea of like, oh, Hardy turning back on the fact that London is not what he expected. I think he did enough, but I think he could have done more.
Yeah.
And that was my big problem with the film. But at the same time, you know why it has to be that short, because there's a whole nother last part of the film where it's another Dunki.
There's a third storyline that still needs to happen in this like very, very condensed amount of time.
Right.
And you know it must be something bad. Like the audience knows something bad is coming. You just don't know how quick it'll actually be.
Right.
So yeah, but I
my
agree. I
big
do
criticism.
agree.
What'd you think of that whole
that was
part?
my own. That's like my biggest thing with the film. The film is uneven. Bless you, I think. And it dude, his switch annoyed me. Like it was too fast. I understand. Like in my head, I'm thinking to myself, well, he never actually wanted to go. He only went for Manu. But he really, really hates this place so fast. And again, I understand the living situation they were in was terrible.
Yeah.
And all of that was terrible.
He was lied to by Bali.
Yeah,
it just all happened so quickly, though, right?
You get those like funny scenes, that like the funny scene where she's trying to get married and they have to kiss.
Great scene.
Like that's a great scene. Like another couple minutes of that would have served well, and a slower, gradual irritation to Hardy to feel like he doesn't belong there. Because I think
also Hardy, they should have given Hardy something to do first. Like have Hardy actually try. It was so out of character for him to turn so quickly when he seems he's a very reasonable person. He's like, okay, well, sure, this all sucks, but how about I try? I think they should have had him do a scene where he was begging, or something.
Arguably, he steals the show from London and everybody with his acting when he's talking to the judge. He says, "No, sir, I won't say I'm here trying to escape my country because that's not true. I'm here to find something better, and you don't have to immigrate. Why do you need a visa? You don't need a visa to go here or there."
Yeah.
And he has that great, like another great monologue. Again, when you put two big actors like Vicky and SRK and you give them monologues like that, like I don't know how you can leave a movie like that and say the movie's bad.
I 100% agree with you.
So yeah, but I do like that's my biggest criticism of the movie. With that said, is that it's just so uneven.
Yeah.
After you get to London, and like, you switch back to comedy so fast when you get to London that it feels a little off.
Jarring. It's a little jarring.
That's it. Yes, because remember you get that credit to Hirani here because you get that absolutely brutal Dunki travel scene where it is just awful, and then it all ends when they get on the shipping container.
Yeah.
And like they're shitting right next to you, like you're in that for 27 days. It was, I think.
Imagine that.
Like it must have been hell, and you get that
hell on earth.
And then you kind of switch so far back to comedy. It was kind of just a little too jarring for me.
Yeah,
That's why
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree, and maybe it was for time, but at the same time, the movie's so good, like I wouldn't have minded because we're in the hands of a great fucking storyteller, dude. Yeah. It's hard. See, this is what I'm telling you. Like, when you have someone who knows what they're doing, I don't mind a 3-hour film. I didn't really feel the 3 hours in this film. Because it moved so well, and it was such a great story. And this time I'm in like, let's do 310, 320. Like we need these scenes in between so that things make sense. But I get it. Even a great director like Hirani has to sort of bow down to the weight of the screenplay every once in a while. But even then, I think he handles it fairly well. Is it uneven? Yes. Is it for the detriment? I don't think so. Too bad. Besides the fact that it's a little quick. So, why don't we move on then to
the ending?
the ending
final
where
Dunki.
we come back to present
Yeah.
day in 2020. We realize everything that's going on.
Yeah.
They're in Dubai. They all meet up. They're all older now. 25 years have
Dubai is
passed.
beautiful. If anyone
Is that
hasn't gone
that's
to
Dubai, right? I'm sure they
that's
went.
Dubai.
That's actually
Oh, yeah.
Dubai. I've been
Oh,
to
yeah.
Dubai. I will go one day for sure.
I'll live there.
It looks. Who wouldn't
No
want to?
no taxes. I'm
I also
in.
think that they're giving money to people to actually live there or something. Anyways,
Anyway.
there's a great. So they sit. They all meet up again, and this is like again. This is a 1-2 punch at the end of this fucking movie. Probably a 3-2 punch, where we find out that Manu. We realized we knew she was sick. We just didn't know how sick she was, but I think we could see it coming. She has cancer. She has a tumor in her head. And the scene where SRK, they tell SRK, and he, oh man, to say that he like his acting was not on top. I mean, I don't understand what people are talking about. He immediately has to take that in. And he's a soldier, so he's not trying to cry in front of them, but he also has to, he doesn't want to leave Manu after being told that she's dying.
Right.
That conflict there is so good, and SRK plays it so well, and then he leaves to cry, and he he basically is like his version of a yell. It's heart-wrenching to hear someone do that, because you realize then too, there's this whole sub story about like, well, you must have been married, right, Manu? Right. And he's like, oh, SRK's been married too. Haha, nudge, nudge. You realize they're both never remarried. Yeah. They never remarried. I thought that was one of the most sweet, heartwarming things I've ever heard in my life, particularly through what they've been through. You realize that they told each other they were like, oh, they moved on from each other because they want each other to move on from each other. Right, and they realize that's not the truth. And they've been waiting for each other all this time. But then, of course, she's dying. I fucking hate Hirani for doing that, but it also just really
I mean,
well.
like that's what he does. That's what he does.
That's what he does. That's what that mother effer does.
Yeah.
And I hate it, but I love him for it too. What did you think of the whole ending?
That scene was great. I thought the ending. I thought it's funny that it somehow, some way isn't higher on this list of Hirani films for me.
Sure.
But I thought the final 20 minutes of the film were just absolutely fantastic. And like fantastically brutal.
Yeah, it's like, beautiful in that way. It's it's tragic but beautiful.
You get that scene where she tells him, then he walks away, he cries, absolutely brutal. Then he, orchestrates the Dunki to get them back home, and you fall for it. Like I don't ever fall for anything.
Me too.
I fell for it. I was like, no, they're going to go back to London. Oh no, but it's all part of his brilliant plan to get him back home, to say, I will get you on a plane back home. And he does. And he gets her home. And then you get that amazing scene, which you already kind of talked about, where she's walking through the town and there's like a 360 shot and it's all kind of these white.
God, that moment. What a great.
Yeah, everybody goes back home. And, even though he was annoying to me,
Boo-goo.
He sees his mom wearing jeans, and that was a really funny scene. I won't lie.
That's really good.
It was even more sweet for Bilal to get home, and he gets home, and the sign from his shop is up on his house. Yeah. His mom is thriving. He's looking at her, and he's like proud because he did it all. He was able to accomplish all of this because he left and because he claimed asylum. And it wasn't the best way to do it. And sure, there has to be a better way for these people to earn an honest living over there without the, troubles they have to go through. But that scene right there was almost like it was worth it to them. They got their gratification.
It's always
and they're back. And then you have Manu going back home, and he tells you get a hint at it. Said, no, I didn't put up the sign. I actually put up a different sign, and it's Manu's bungalow instead. And then he put Big Ben at the top. Yeah, that was and sweet. Then I'm recapping all of it. I'm talking a lot, and then he gets her up to the roof and he proposes to her, and he puts the chimes, and then she's gone. And I was like, God damn, you son
freaking brutal,
bitch,
freaking SOB over here.
Yeah, but it was all this fantastic filmmaking. It was like that's Hirani at his prime, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
He's gonna take you on a nice little journey. He's gonna make you laugh. He's gonna make you feel your heart feel warm, and then he's gonna rip your heart out and say, because that's what life is. Life sucks. Life rips your heart out from time to time, and you got to deal with it.
Life is beautiful tragedy, man. Like that's what he's really. That he understands. He understands that better than almost any other director I know. And you can
Absolutely
just see it. He has precision timing when it comes to coming in and out of the happy moments and the very like gut-wrenching sad moments too. And he's fearless in that sense. Like he really goes for it. When he shows he'll show you someone getting shot in the head, in the back, in the face, in the neck. Yeah. While also giving you these incredibly funny human moments. And a lot of other directors would never even dare do that because they just are ill-equipped to do so. But he gets it. He absolutely gets the timing, and it's really a marker of one of the great directors I've seen, who's clearly been around for a while. Yeah. So I just want to say, like, India, you need to hold on to this guy as long as you can. He's probably your best director, for sure. And if he keeps making a movie, SS is also great. He's also great. For sure Hirani's my number one though. He's my guy right now. But he at this point he can't really do any wrong, although a lot of people seem to disagree. But I guess I also just that, and when you put the last leg of the movie up against the first one and you realize just how well those sections played, I guess you can kind of really see how the middle London part, maybe Hirani should just watch out for, like, if he needs to tackle sort of real issues, sort of point blank, more than he has really before.
Yeah, I didn't like the
because it sticks out, you know.
Yeah, it sticks out. Like I did not like the cut to black and the pictures and the talk about the immigration. I didn't like that. I feel like the movie didn't need that. Again, I didn't like it, not for like political reasons or anything like that. I just felt like it didn't need to be in the movie.
I 100% agree with you. Yes.
You created this beautiful movie about how hard it is to immigrate, and you can let your audience decide if it's right for people to seek asylum, if it's not right for people to seek asylum. And then you put in there and say, no, this is what I think. And it's like, well, I think you kind of diluted the movie a little bit with that scene. I would have just left that out and said, and especially putting it after Manu's death. I didn't love that scene. I thought it diluted it a little bit because you want to put your opinion in it. And to me, it bugged me. So
I couldn't agree with you more. I got it. I understood why it was there, but it just
my grandparents
wasn't.
Immigrants. Your mom and dad are immigrants.
Oh, yeah,
like I'm second generation American.
We all got it. We all got it in the movie. I had it by that time, and I didn't need. I don't want to use the word, but it just felt very like you're imposing sort of your own political views in this moment in a movie that didn't really need it. No. So it's like, okay, do what you want. That's fine. It's your right to do so. But I just didn't think it. Yeah, I don't think it really made the movie better at all. So.
And I think a lot of people agree with us. 5 people in my screening when that started happening got up and left the movie.
Yeah,
they didn't wait for the last scene. So again, I just don't think you need to put that in the movie. You created a film. People can go do their research, do their create their own views on it. Whether they are right or wrong, that's up to them, and it's up for debate later. But you diluted this really, really beautiful movie and putting it right at the very end, I think did leave some sour tastes in some mouth. Maybe that's why you got a negative review.
It's very possible. And nowadays it's like, if you're gonna do that, then you have to take the hit as well. Like the best thing you could have done is just not even dip your toe in it. If you want your movie to be fairly reviewed, I hate to say that because it should be, everyone should be fair, but they're not. Like, that's just the time now. And so he clearly, again, he is a brave director. So I think he knew what he was doing, and I don't think he gave a crap. But he's an accomplished director, so I don't think he gave a shit. So whatever, respect in that sense. You should be able to say what you want. But I'm with you though. I don't think, in a narrative sense, was not necessary. And particularly because it's not the final scene. It's in between the movie and the final scene, which makes me go, okay, so this is like, it's in the movie. You know what I mean? Like, it's in the movie. It's not a afterthought. It's in the movie. And so like, I get it. And like, I get it. So, you
did such a good job of, like, we said a couple videos ago when we watched the trailer for it, we reacted to the trailer. immigration's such a touchy subject already,
Super
and it's touchy everywhere. Like everywhere I go, it's not just India to London or right now there's a lot of Israeli people coming to Italy. And I was there for the very beginning of that conflict.
Well, it's a lot of it's refuge, right? Like a lot.
Yeah,
there's
a lot of
death,
people
money, and
and like in America's borders right now, there's a lot happening right now. And I'm going back to a border town.
Right.
I live in El Paso, Texas.
El Paso.
So and it's apparent my mom is saying it's kind of bad at the moment. But so it's a touchy subject, and I think whenever I think Hirani, he did such an amazing job of humanizing this subject, which a lot of people have a lot of problem trying to do. You get a lot of this like stuck up, oh, why are you coming to my country? You don't, but like I don't see anybody else volunteering to pick crops or do the work that you don't want to do. Right. So as far as I'm concerned, when SRK is making that speech, that's literally all I thought about my whole life. Right. It's like, you ain't doing it. So unless you're going to do it, because, the argument's always, they steal jobs. You're not stealing my job.
Right.
So I don't know what you're talking about. But anyway.
No, I think there's obviously, we can get into the specifics, but at the end of the day, it's like
a wonderful job humanizing it.
Yeah.
Ed. So good.
I agree.
Did that at the very end, and I was like, God dang it.
Yeah, I know. It's like, why would you do? Because then that just sort of solidifies the underlying sort of what he was sort of wanting you to feel. When in fact, I thought it was like you didn't have to do that.
Yeah,
you could let other people just make their own decisions. Because everything that in that scene with SRK, in that scene with that pivotal scene, nothing that was said was wrong. No. Really. You can. That's what's crazy is that like I even have my own views on that, and I don't think some people would probably disagree with me. Even with an immigrant family, I have my own views on that. But at the end of the day, I love that scene because it's like, well, I don't disagree with anything that is being said,
right?
And we can just leave it at that. We just leave it at that. Sometimes we just don't know how to pick up our own shit. Sometimes, like it's tough. We make mistakes, but there's still the world is. We have to accept the world the way it is sometimes. And we can have discussions about this, but like to then put those images and stuff at the end, I was like, oh, why? I had to do my best to just ignore it. I was just like, I'm not gonna look.
Get up out of the theater. Like I want to make this point very clear. I think Indian audiences are fantastic because every Indian film I've been to this year, people stay through the credits. People stay through the credits. This was the first time I've ever seen anybody get up and walk out.
Right.
So again, I think it's a touchy subject, and I think you should have left it out. Other than that, the movie was great. So
I agree. Me too. Dude. I think that's a good place to cut it. Dunki. Maybe not the best Hirani film, but still a really fantastic film. I think it is being it's being harshly, I think, criticized a little too much by people, but hey, to his their own, that's fine. I still would say go watch it. It's really freaking funny.
I agree. You should watch it.
And a great time.
Heartfelt and funny and
heartfelt. Oh man, it's so good. It's so good. And I can't wait for the next one. Like Hirani, you have my ticket for life more than likely. Guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Pizza Time. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit the bell and stay tuned for 2024, guys. By the way, 2024. What a year do we have for Indian cinema, especially new Indian cinema. Like this is really Pizza Time Indian cinema season 2. We're gonna have a lot of new movies coming out and reactions to trailers and songs, drops, whatever you got. We're gonna be there. Yeah. So stay tuned. We're gonna have it for you. If you guys
would like to see us, I'll have Ed put a timestamp because Ed's gonna handle these episodes because I got to take a flight. Yeah. I'll have Ed put a timestamp here, and I want you guys to comment below if you want us to start recreating dances on TikTok.
Why are you asking for everything? Just dance. You think people are going to be like, I don't want to see Alex dance. They want to see Alex dance.
No. I need the people to want it.
No.
I don't just give. I need want.
People want you to dance.
I need the need.
Don't answer him. Just let him do it.
Wow. Hurtful. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. Have a great and safe Christmas and holiday and whatever you celebrate.
Yeah.
And just be safe. Bye, guys.